Good evening, everyone. Everyone that's in, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another Extra Time show on a Thursday with me and Kenny Ken. Straight away, apologies. Dan Potts was meant to be joining us, but unfortunately, he's busy. He's having to do something important, whatever it is, but he can't be joining us this week. But he has said that he will be joining us next week. So all good, all good, all good. But we've got Kenny Ken as always. Uncle Ken's here with us, people. So, Kenny, how you been, my friend? How's your day been? All right? All good?
Yeah, day's been fantastic. Like I said, everything's all right with me, both my homes. both my homes. So, yeah, like I said, got the hot water working in one of them. And what one thing will say right now is like this is crunch time now. Chelsea's important, then Brighton. And then obviously after Brighton, we got Mansfield. And after Mansfield, it's going to be the Champions League, Everton, and another Champions League game. So this is where it gets a bit important. And this is when sort of like the title race starts. Last 10 games is when it becomes, we're getting into the championship rounds.
Yeah, this is the nitty gritty in it, Kenny. There's no room for error now. There's absolutely no room for error, and we're going to get into it straight away. Big up Carl Walsh, that's absolutely in. Big up to everyone. Kawaja's in. Lux videos. Big up to every single one of you. As I said, once again, apologies. Dan Potts can't make it this week, but he has said that he will be here next week. So all good, all good. Yeah, Kenny, I mean, this is the home straight now, isn't it? The final hurdle, whatever you want to call it, the home turn. And quite simply, there's no room for error. I mean, we can't, whether there's injuries, whether there's fatigue, it don't matter now. It's everyone for their self, isn't it? And it's going to start with Chelsea, who's going to give us they're going to give us a tougher ride than Spurs, aren't they, Kenny? Surely.
Well, I think there is extenuating circumstances when it comes to Spurs. First and foremost, as we saw a few sort of things where you could put them in the category of home truths. A lot of them, their players show their true characters. We've always suspected, and we've now found out that Conor Gallagher is just a dibbly dobbly. We've always thought that, but he definitely is that. We know Van der Ven is nothing without his mate Romero. He's no leader. We've learnt that. We also learnt that they're very, very lightweight and that they're very passive and they're actually quite easy to beat. But Chelsea are a different kettle of fish. They gave us a hard game at the bridge, and I still insist if they had to 10 men, 11 men, they'd have beaten us. They were easily the better side, even with 10 men. In the League Cup, they were naive. I think the manager didn't understand the requirements of playing Arsenal. He wanted to rotate, and he over-rotated. But
do you reckon he's learnt from that, Kenny? Sorry to interrupt you, but do you reckon he's learnt from that? Do you reckon that League Cup is a massive learning curve for him?
I think it has, because
against Arsenal.
Well, yeah, a lot of people see it's the best team in the country, and that he's going to measure himself and his team against how they do against who he believes is the best team in the country. And I believe he probably believes it's us. So the first leg, where he had so many injuries and he had to protect some of his players, he would have regretted the lineup. He would have regretted, and he would have seen maybe if I had more fit players, I could have it could have been a bit different. In the second leg, he probably feels he got his tactics right, but one of the things he didn't counter for was the timing, and he needed a goal. He needed an early goal against us, and he didn't get it. In the end, it was a case where they panicked and they let us in to nick it from them. But the right team's gone through to like the League Cup final. But this is going to be a bit different, because whilst he hasn't got Fofana, there's an opportunity for Adarabioyo, or Diadarabioyo isn't so much blessed with pace, and he does have a mistake in him. And obviously, their big miss, a massive miss.
He's well rated there at Chelsea, though, isn't he? Adarabioyo, yeah. He's well rated there.
He's rated.
They'd like to see him rather than Fofana. They think Fofana's a little bit of a liability, don't they?
I think they think with Fofana. Fofana's looking pain for the move. He is looking to leave Chelsea. The Chelsea he thought he was joining wasn't the sort of Abramovich's Chelsea, where they were competing all fronts and they were competing for trophies. This Chelsea's doesn't like to sign players over the age of over the age of 28. They like young players, and as you well know, young players, they'll get you somewhere, but you do need leaders in that team. And they ain't got leaders, so he is trying to edge out for a move. Cucurella is a massive miss for him. I heard he's got a hamstring injury, so that's a big miss.
Massive
Miss for them.
Yeah.
But one thing about it is they do have their full defence. So not their full defence. They still got Reece James to come back. There's I believe he will start. I believe the midfield will be the same. Fernandez. Fernandez, probably Reece James in there as well, and also Casado. And then you've got a situation where up top you'll have Pedro that's having a good season. And then Neto has come back with a bit of fitness because Esteval's out as well. He's got an injury as well, so it's more than likely that's an opportunity for like I said, Cole Palmer to play if he's fully fit. And there's an opportunity for Neto to play, but I think the Cole Palmer thing is very interesting because I just seen an interview with the PFA that the head of the PFA, and he's saying that he's talking about player welfare, that Cole Palmer's burnt out, hence the fact that he isn't completing many minutes of Chelsea. And he hasn't really. Well, if you notice that Cole Palmer, the first time Cole Palmer's played it at the Emirates for any of his teams, Man City or Chelsea, was actually in the second leg of the Cup. He wasn't fit in 2024 when we beat them 5-0, and he wasn't fit last season in that dreadful, poor game. He wasn't fit. So that's another thing that that's going to be a bit different. And also, Chelsea's tactics were going to be, trying to spoil and see what they can do. One thing Chelsea haven't got, which Man United probably have, they haven't got many game managers. They don't. Many times when they've gone a goal up, they haven't really been able to keep the lead. Even though they're down at 10 men, it's Burnley. You should be able to keep the lead there.
Yeah. 100%. And their discipline as well. They've lacked a lot of discipline in a lot of games as well, haven't they? They've picked up silly red cards, and when they're under pressure, they're just showing a little bit of inexperience and stuff like that. That's what I mean. I mean, if we can get ahead early in that game, Kenny, I think it could be a kind of it could be a comfortable afternoon for us. But the longer the game goes on, if it's 0-0 at half time, I can see it being very, very similar to the Carabao Cup semi-final. Do you think Chelsea fancy there? Because obviously they've got to try and get something now from these remaining league games, because they're in a Champions League fight, aren't they, with Liverpool and Man United and Aston Villa and everyone else. So they're going to be looking at. I don't think they're going to show any fear coming to the Emirates, are they?
Well, there's no thing. Chelsea haven't got the luxury of having a give me. It's really close between Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man United. In fact, Chelsea Liverpool's goal difference is actually goal difference for that. And then Man United, because they won 6 out of 7, they're in a situation where they've been undefeated in the last 7 games. They're in a situation where they now take the gauntlet. And who knows, with Aston Villa struggling to put away teams, especially at their own ground, they could nick third place, Man United. So it's one of those situations where Chelsea are in a battle. So they have to go to Arsenal and first and foremost make sure they don't lose. They can't afford to defeat, because you have to assume that Man United, I'm assuming Man United are playing Crystal Palace at home. Crystal Palace are in free fall. The managers don't want to be there. Man United are organised. They haven't got the players they had last year, Crystal Palace. So Man United will fancy their chances. I believe Liverpool have got West Ham at home. Again, West Ham a lot better than what they were before. However, it's at Anfield, but that doesn't mean anything, because remember, teams have gone to Anfield and got something in the Cup as well and in Champions League. So that's going to be a hard game. But Chelsea have to assume that they are going to drop down a bit, because they have to assume Liverpool will win. They have to assume that Man United will win. Both of them are playing at Old Trafford, respectively, in Anfield.
Yeah.
So it's a situation where they can't afford to lose. They can't afford to lose to us, and that's going to make it different. Another thing as well, they're levels above Tottenham. They have got players who are good on the ball. They have got players who can press. They have got players who can actually hurt our opposition, hurt us in terms of like they've got a striker who scores goals. That's a great commodity. They got a bit of creativity as well in terms of like Fernandes, and most importantly, you know, if Neto is fully fit and they got Cole Palmer just to play a bit of a part and Reece James playing, that's a different game for us. It's a difficult game, and let's put this in a compartment. The Spurs game can always turn out to be either the catalyst to us running away with this league, or it could be another false dawn because Spurs weren't great. Once you get out of the Tottenham game, yeah, Eze and our good friend Gyökeres got a brace each, but that was a kind of horses performance in terms of Eze. He's got a good record against Spurs. It's a no-brainer playing him, isn't it? So you play him. So it's one of those things where Gyökeres as well, he thrives in space. He thrives in being able to bully his defender, and he thrives in being able to get it out of his feet and shoot on target. That's what he got. He doesn't always get that in games.
No.
You know, and what Arsenal fans need to remember one thing. Let's not forget, 4 days before our good friends played against Wolves, we were basically in a situation where we were basically having the last rights. Everyone was writing us off, us included. They thought City will run away with it now, and then we get the top result, and what we've done is, but judging by the way Tottenham were, did we really learn anything from that?
Not really. Not really. It was a little bit over the top, wasn't it? Really. Yeah. I mean, it was only the fact that it was the North London derby and we won it convincingly made it all very glossy. And
you saw like in that first 15 minutes.
Kenny. They were really poor.
You know, in that first 15 minutes, you kind of knew when we were, like I said, getting bodies forward, we're winning our goals. You kind of knew that it was always, we were going to win that game. And that the only thing that was going to stop us from winning that game is when our momentum was broken up by the referee having technical issues. But apart from that, it could have been 6 or 7 if we really wanted it to be.
If we'd have really wanted it, we could have scored another 3 or 4 goals. 100%.
8-1. If we won that game 7 or 8-1, I don't think anyone right would complain. I don't think Spurs fans would complain. I don't think we would have just enjoyed it, but we would have said, yeah, that's about right. So you've got to win those games when they're on the plate for you. You've got to score goals when the opposition is at its weakest, and that goes for Eze and
they were great times. We scored that goal, wasn't it, after half time? Just after half time, it was a great time to score.
And then injury time, get the 4th to cement our win. But one thing about it is that team selection could be different.
Well, I was just going to come on to it. It's big up to everyone in the chat. And no, we've got the chat back as normal. Thanks, Lux, for your little joke and everyone else putting little signs in, scaring me. I'm thinking, oh, no, not again. Don't know if you know, Kenny, but last night while I was live, me and Normski doing our Wednesday show, and the chat, I got through 2 hours of the show, I don't know. The chat was coming through. It was all in gobbledygook. It was in Japanese.
That bad, eh?
Oh, it was so bad. It was really, really bad. But we got through, people. We got through. Big up to everyone that's in. Carl Walsh is in. Waha Waha. Vincenzo Petroni's in. Lux Videos as well. Everyone's in. And Bab the Ripper as well.
Well,
big up.
That's got to be good news that we do have some sort of like thing. But that's the thing with YouTube. You know, a few weeks ago, it may be months, the views were affected in terms of
it's been crazy. It's been playing up. It has been playing up. But a couple of questions, Kenny. I mean, this is a good one here, and we'll get onto this straight away, Joseph. Kenny, why doesn't Arteta rotate Rice when he needs to be rotated? He's a good player, but he's given the ball away quite a few times in the in the last few games. Yeah, I'm glad you said the last few games because he
Mm,
hasn't looked on it himself. I'm keeping my eye on Declan Rice, Kenny,
mm,
and I know you. He's taken a while to sort of get your kind of
yeah.
100% support, and he wasn't your sort of favourite first of all. It's
No,
taken
it
time,
wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it
but
wasn't.
now you know the importance of Declan Rice.
Oh yeah, without,
I've rated him
without,
from day one personally, but lately he's not been the same player. Now, is that down to what Joseph has said, lack of rotation, or is it down to the pressure that's getting to him, or what do you think it is with Declan lately?
well, first and foremost, Declan's been distracted. There's a lot of
Yeah.
distraction with Declan recently. I'm not talking about that moron who showed a picture of his wife when he was taking the corner. Because
Oh yeah.
Daniels,
What an
Simon
absolute.
Simon Jordan was right when he says he's not going to stop being a moron. He's going to be a moron for the rest of his life. So,
Oh yeah,
but
100%.
there's other things that Declan's been doing since the turn of the year. You know, the little remarks. Screaming and shouting after
Yeah.
we've dropped points. Having a go at Airport Albert. Obviously, I was at the game at the Bridge for the first leg of the Carling Cup, Carabao
Yeah.
Cup. That's a distraction. And then doing this, that's distraction.
Yeah.
Doing this to speak to people, and then he's giving quite a few more
Do you
interviews
think
here
he's
and there.
getting? Sorry, Kenny. Do you think he's getting involved a little bit too much when he
Too
don't need?
much, too much,
Yeah.
too much. He's yesterday. He had another interview. Just calm yourself down. All
Yeah.
this stuff you're doing isn't great in terms of like your mental energy, and it's not great for us as well because what will happen is that we can't concentrate, and we haven't got time for debates on whether Declan should be captain or Odegaard should be captain. We're here for the football. Declan Rice should stop wasting his time, keep a low profile, and do what he's doing best because all this stuff he's doing is beginning to affect his game.
Mm.
All
Yeah.
this nervous energy, wanting it that badly, he's making mistakes. Oh, don't get me wrong, it wasn't catastrophic, but it's still a high profile mistake. And then Wolves, he got overrun. We
Oh,
saw what
massive.
happened at Brentford, where he got overrun as well with midfield.
Yeah.
Overrun. And this Chelsea side, where you got Caicedo, you got Fernandes, and you got Reece James. Two of them are going to keep the ball of him away from him. The other one's going to hand him and hand him and hand him.
Yeah.
This is a big battle for him. Caicedo's no slouch, mate. He costs just as much money as Declan Rice. And
Well, there was a toss-up between who we wanted, wasn't it? I mean, there
or,
was a point when we wanted Caicedo more than
played
Rice.
them together. Or we could have played them together. Either
Yeah.
way, this is a major battle between the two heavyweights of the London of both sides in terms of midfield. West London versus North London. That's a heavyweight battle. He needs to concentrate because right now, whatever you say about Brentford's performance, which is fantastic, by the way, and whatever you say about how Wolves responded, Caicedo's levels above the midfield that came up against us against Brett at G-Tech 2 weeks ago,
Oh,
and
100%,
then
100%.
last 8 days ago at Molineux. So he's got to concentrate his game because if he's at his best, Caicedo will ruin him.
Yeah.
So you need to calm yourself down, stop doing your interviews, concentrate your football, stop the PR.
Exactly.
Football.
I think he's been a bit of a smokescreen for the manager as well, though, with all these interviews and that. I think he's. Do you know what I mean? Because I think they feel that the pressure's on now, and I think they know the manager's under pressure to win the Premiership.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of bad results, albeit we got away with it against Tottenham. Obviously, not got away with it, but we smashed them obviously because they were rubbish. And I think there's a lot of these players now are trying to take the heat off the situation away from the manager. And
the pressure's getting to them.
Yeah, 100%.
They just can't stop talking. They can't stop talking. Saka's not talking. I mean, Saka signed his contract a week ago, and yet we're still talking about it. Just keep a low profile. Keep your gob shut.
Exactly. Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
You know what they should do. Keep Ian Wright as far away from our dressing room. Keep him as far away from the club as well, because
Oh,
he's
he's done an advert now, hasn't he, with Max Dowman? Have you seen
yeah,
that
but
one?
he needs to just keep as far away because
Where
he's a
Max
distraction
Dowman
as
is in
well.
school doing his writing, and it's Adidas
No,
boots, isn't it?
keep Ian Wright as far away
Yeah,
from him. He's part
100%.
of the problem. He's a distraction.
100%.
You know, keep
100%.
him. He's talking like we and us. Just Ian, just calm down. Stop putting
Yeah,
pressure on our players. Stay away. Watch from the commentary box. Watch from the stands, but please just stay away from the sanctum. These guys are under pressure as it is, and we don't need your cheerleading at the moment.
don't need
Stay
any more.
away, Ian.
I know. Our club is unbelievable for PR, isn't it? Big up Icy Spicy. I hope everyone's well. Bab the Ripper as well. Big up to you. Big up AFC 1987. Arsenal should not allow the media day and just concentrate on winning the league, etc. and do media after when Arsenal win trophies. 100%. Me and Kenny said it. Big up to you, AFC. Big up. Yeah, 100%. Cucurella's out. Cucurella's out. Hamstring. Saka has a hard time with Cucurella. Cucurella tends to bully Saka a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, but there's a lot of respect between them both.
Do you think we'll see this? Do you think we'll see a different Saka without Cucurella in the side? Do you think?
Not necessarily, because what will happen is that it's still going to be the same situation. Yes, Saka will, because to compensate for the loss of Cucurella, Chelsea are just going to just double up on him. Simple as they'll double up on him. They'll cut off they'll try and cut off the supply Gyökeres. They would love it if Eze played, because they know that Eze won't try and do what you try and do what Martin Odegaard would do, which try to play through the lines. So as confident as Eze is, and he should be confident after scoring a brace. Let's not forget, prior to the Tottenham game, he didn't have a shot on target since the other Tottenham game. So he hasn't been pulling up trees. The temptation is to play Eze, but the problem is that you've got to try and win the game. And I can tell you,
this is what I'm saying, Kenny.
He's not going to get the same space that he got at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I repeat, Chelsea are better than Spurs. Chelsea have got more ambitions of trying to win something. Yes, they probably feel they're maybe outside the Champions League, but they know that if they get their act together, anything can happen because they've done it before. They're going to be looking to get the FA Cup, because that's a winnable trophy for them, and they're beginning to get some sort of pedigree in it, although they haven't won it for a while. But they used to be perennial FA Cup winners now, and plus they get the top four. They're gonna come in a game later on. They're not going to be like last season where it was so pathetic. Arsenal were poor, Chelsea were poor, Liverpool always going to win the league. It seemed like both sides were comfortably in the top four. This is different. For Arsenal, we can't afford to drop points because Man City are lurking about. They're not the Man City of old, but they're still there. And Chelsea can't afford to lose any games because
it should be a cracking game, shouldn't it, Kenny? And it hasn't been recently.
It will never be a cracking game. As long as, because simple reasons that both managers will ball the arse out of each other. They'll ball the arse out of each other. They'll be afraid to make a mistake. It'll be like chess. They'll be low blocking each other. Chelsea will low block us. We'll low block them. We will say they will try and stop the overloads. We will try and stop the overloads. It'll be one of the worst games ever.
That's why I think it's got a draw written all over it. This game.
Yeah, or whoever scores first will win the game and shut it out.
Possibly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, possibly. 100%. Yeah, we're going to get onto the Champions League a little bit soon actually. So we have got the Champions League coming up as well. So do you think, Kenny? I mean, everyone's a little bit nervous by his team selection on Chelsea. They reckon that could be the deciding factor whether Chelsea get anything out of the game. Well, I would like to think he's going to line up with the same team he did against Spurs.
You say that sometimes, right? You have to factor in the opposition. You have to factor in the reason why he played like he went that way in terms of his tactical approach and his personnel in Eze. I'm not saying Eze is a poor player, but one thing is, it's a no-brainer. If someone's got a hat trick against a team and that defence, it's no-brainer to play him in the corresponding fixture. Plus, that guy's already scored quite a few goals in games at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So Spurs have, he's Spurs' bogeyman. Even
Do you reckon he's going to start with Eze, or do you reckon he's going to bring
the
Odegaard back?
temptation to start with Eze is very, very strong.
Because Havertz is fit as well, isn't he?
The temptation to start with either of them is very, very strong. But one thing is, we got to remember one thing: we got to win this game, or find a win to win this game. We don't want a situation where Eze starts and then you think after 60 minutes, oh no, why we do that for? Because remember, 2 games ago, there was Wolves where he was on the bench, and then Brentford, where we agreed with the manager to substitute him. In fact, some of us wanted him substituted before half time. So let's not forget that everything's rose in the garden because we beat a very poor Spurs side. Let's not forget that we dropped a 2-goal lead at Molineux. The week before, we dropped a goal lead at the G-Tech Stadium, and both performances were overrun in midfield. We actually got battered by Brentford, and Eze was taken off. So you play Eze, you expect the same, and then you think, you know what? Maybe the people who had misgivings are probably right. That probably we should have gone horse for courses. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not convinced Eze is going to play in that same way that he played displaying against Tottenham. He won't be given as much space.
No,
all time on the ball, and the same with Gyökeres. If everyone's forgetting that, again. At the G-Tech Stadium, he was criticised for
he's prolific now, though, Kenny. Gyökeres, he's prolific. 40-goal season, man, now.
He was criticised at Molineux, where they compared him to Chapman, and then he scores a couple of goals, and we're all supposed to... They're all now saying, 15 goals, 15 goals. The way people just fluctuate. I think Gunnar Lee was right. I didn't start the show. All 3 of us joined late. But the things he was saying in terms of how it fluctuates between our opinions on Saka, our opinions on Gyökeres, especially Gyökeres, our opinions on Eze, is like, we haven't turned a corner with these players.
No.
It's good. Congratulations that, Gyökeres is starting to score goals. But he's not out of the woods yet.
No, I agree.
He's got 10 goals this season in spite of his performances this season, not because of his performances.
Yeah, I agree. I still want a little bit more from him personally. I think it's there, but I still need a little bit more from him.
Well, so you should do. One thing people need to realise, right, is that stop going and saying, the manager didn't do this and the players don't do this. No, he's at Arsenal. He has to adapt. He has to adapt his game. He needs to show us different. When you join a big club from the club that you're at, i.e., from a different league, or a different club, or an inferior league to one in England, we have to see why you are worth the £70 million.
You've got to prove to us you're an Arsenal player.
Yeah, and we weren't seeing that a lot with Victor.
No,
we weren't seeing it with Eze. So when people start saying rewriting history, and they are rewriting history, you have to sort of play it straight back and stick to your convictions, because Arsenal fans, as you well know, if we don't beat Chelsea and beat Brighton, are we back to the doom and gloom?
Oh, man. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if we pick up 1 point in the next 2 games, which is possible? Brighton's never been a good place for us to go, has it, Kenny? That's another... We've spoken at length in Chelsea, but Brighton's going to be tricky because they're going to want to climb the table, aren't they?
Yeah, but Brighton's a different obstacle. It's a different obstacle course. Brighton actually have a very good record at the Emirates, where they've won, and they've won comfortably. I bet Brighton fans, and they say that the Emirates Stadium is their back garden. They've got a good record at our ground. We've got quite a good 100%. Record at their ground. But one thing about it is that we have drawn at their ground. Last time they beat us was in the 2017-2018 season. And sorry, no, actually, that's not true. They actually did the double over us during the lockdown season.
They did, yeah.
Sorry, then the half lockdown season. Brighton they've beaten us twice at the Amex, and they won 3 times at the Emirates. They got a very how do I say it? They got a very interesting record against us. A bit like Newcastle, where there's a bit of a strange. We have a strange record where it can be poor against Newcastle, and it can be, and the same with Brighton. So it's one of those things where they're 2 hard games where you may not see Eze play, and if Eze does start, there's no guarantee he's going to replicate that performance at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. In fact, we had to wait 2 months, over 2 months, for a half decent performance from Eze, because the last half decent performance was against Tottenham.
True.
So
yeah, true.
We do reserve the right as football fans, as match goers, as Arsenal fans, to say, hang on here, we see a lot of football here. We are playing better teams. We should be able to give our opinion. We shouldn't just go, oh, we've won. That's lazy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, mate, you're right. I mean, Eze's got to show top form consistently from now on in. I mean, he's got games coming up where he can do that. I just think there's going to be a little bit of rotation in this manager's mind because, you know, we're going to get onto it now, the Champions League. I mean, that's coming up soon. We've got a tough game on the Sunday against Chelsea. Then we go away to Brighton on the Wednesday. His hand might be forced to not play Eze in one of them games and put Odegaard in, because Odegaard at the end of the day has not had much game time recently. So, you know, it's going to come to a stage where he might use his squad. And this is why I can't understand why he don't use Norgard in situations. You know, I can't understand why he don't trust Norgard.
That baffles all of us, because at the end of the day, we've talked about this deep squad that we're supposed to have. And the only person who disagrees with all Arsenal fans about, you know, us having a deep squad is the manager, because he doesn't go deep dive into the squad.
No,
he likes to pick the same personnel. You know, even though they're running empty in certain departments, he still plays them because at the end of the day, you've got to remember one thing: the only player that's as close to as being as big as a system is Saka. After that, it's a free-for-all. People talk about Declan Rice being our most important player. Yeah, that's it. But it's still Saka's still the leader, the main man in that team. But
you still don't trust him.
You take Saka out of there, the actual star's the system. And he only trusts a few players to play that system. That's why there's no guarantees Eze is going to play on Sunday, on Sunday.
No.
You know, he don't owe you anything. He doesn't owe us anything. It's just our opinions. But he generally believes that Chelsea are a better team than Tottenham, and that he doesn't want to be playing with one man less, like he was at the GTEC Stadium. He's well within his rights to say, "Well, no, I'm not starting you, mate. I'll go elsewhere." Yeah, he could, you know, say, "Well, hang on here. Madueke's played every game for a while. I can always go to Saka and say, you know what, you stayed at number 10, and because I want Madueke to play, because Madueke gives me a bit of general pace going down the right hand side."
He could. I mean, me and Norski done a little team yesterday. We done some different rotations yesterday, and we put Jesus on the left. We put Gyökeres up front. We put Eze and we put Saka in the 10, Eze in the 8. We had Declan Rice holding in the 6. We dropped Zubermend and we put Madueke on the right. I mean, you know, he won't do it against Chelsea, but he could definitely do that.
He could do that every time. He does that against Chelsea. We're going to get murdered. What's
this, Kenny? What's this, Kenny? SLD's just put this. Kenny, I saw
it's old news. Old news. It was about 11 years ago.
11 years ago. There you go.
Do
Kenny,
better, my old friend. Do better.
Kenny, come on. Have you heard the Arsenal going to signing Cape? Yes. Kenny, let's share the screen here. Let's
Yeah,
get
right. In Cappy 8.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. In Cappy 8.
Let's have a look at the right before we get on to the Incap 8 Champions League. Kenny, it is now official. These are the
Permutations.
these are the teams that are in it. So Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Tottenham, Barcelona, Chelsea, Sporting, Man City, Newcastle, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, Bodo Glimt, Real Madrid, Galatasaray, Paris Saint-Germain and Atalanta. Now, Atalanta surprised me. They were 2-0 down. I thought they were gone. I thought I was looking at Dortmund going, oh, I don't particularly want Dortmund. Right. Champions League round of 16s permutations. Arsenal could face Bayer Leverkusen or Atalanta. Chelsea, Newcastle or PSG.
That's easy. Not
That's a tough one. Liverpool, Madrid or Galatasaray. Another tough one. Get me teeth out. City, Bodo or Real Madrid. Newcastle, Chelsea or Barcelona. Real Madrid, Sporting or Man City.
You didn't say Tottenham. You left Tottenham out.
Yeah, Tottenham are down there. Where's Spurs? Oh, did I
They-
leave Spurs
they-
out?
they-
I left Spurs out.
Right?
Atletico Madrid or Galatasaray, yeah. So these are all the permutations, people. What else we got? Atalanta could face Arsenal or Bayern Munich. PSG could face Chelsea or Barcelona. I mean, Chelsea have got a vicious last 16.
Yeah, but the thing is
what's your whole opinion on that? Because we're favourites apparently to win this, Kenny.
I think we got to start playing well because this is the nitty gritty. We bullied teams in the group stages when we're at our best, our physical best. We're not our physical best at the moment. We get these teams get a players twice, and if they use their brains, they won't try and panic and try and win it in the first leg and worry about the Emirates. If they play 180 minutes football, it's different. We are struggling against teams that are good on the ball, who are organised and can give us a physical battle.
Yeah.
Leverkusen have got a player called Stick. I think he's a Czech Republic international, scores goals. He's going to be a massive, massive worry if we play against them. Atalanta, a different kettle of fish. They've got Zelensky, a good player. They kick the ball really well, but they don't play at a tempo that I think can hurt us.
They draw a lot of games as well.
They draw a lot of games.
They've drawn a lot.
They don't play at a tempo that that will put us fear of God into us, but they do keep the ball, and that's going to be our Achilles heel. Now, if you want me to go quickly through Chelsea, well, Chelsea have played Newcastle in the league. They drew against them. PSG. They beat them in the World Club Championships, but PSG are the holders. I don't think Chelsea will want them. Liverpool have already played Atletico Madrid and Galatasaray in the group stage, in the league stages. They beat Atletico Madrid, last minute header from Van Dijk. They lost against Galatasaray, had a goal disallowed, but it was a penalty by Osimhen. Man City have already got turned over by Bodo Glimt, and I believe they gave Real Madrid a shellacking. I think
they're a tough team, Bodo Glimt.
The reason why if you play low block against them, you can beat them. Spurs last season in the Europa League played a low block, and they found it difficult. Let's not forget, Bodo Glimt didn't win a game until January.
True.
So it was one of the things where they come late to the party. But if you play low block against them, they'll find it very difficult to play against. Newcastle play really well, but they've got a soft underbelly. They played really well against Liverpool, lost 4-1, went one go up. They played really well at the Etihad, lost. So that's a hard one against them. And
that could be an English all last 16, couldn't it? Newcastle
and Barcelona. They've got a weak underbelly. They don't have to steal in midfield. They keep the ball.
A lot of people's favourite to win it, though.
Yeah, but Barcelona for Barcelona to win matches, they have to score 3 or 4 to win a match. They're not going to win a match 2-1 or 1-0.
They do concede as well.
And they concede. So They're the sort of team that they have to win it 4-3, 5-3, 4-2. Real Madrid or Tottenham, they're going to need Romero back. They're going to need Kulusevski back, and that's
They're
not
going to
going
need
to
a lot of help by the looks of things,
Yeah,
mate,
but
because they're
if Tottenham play low block and they get their players to press and they get Solanke fit and get Kudos back, they got half a chance in this competition, because I think that against Atletico Madrid, as much as Atletico Madrid are a good side, they're a shadow of the team they were before. Tottenham haven't got much to fear. If Tottenham play Galatasaray, one thing they do have Victor Osimhen. He's a danger. He will score goals.
Yeah.
And home and away. So that's going to be different. Real Madrid are playing Sporting Lisboa. I haven't really watched much of Sporting Lisboa. One thing I did, I've watched Real Madrid. Midfield, they haven't got a midfield. They've got too many Galacticos, but they haven't got no organisation.
No.
One thing that they have got that's improved is Trent Alexander-Arnold is playing well again. He has got that passing ability, and he does find the players. And Vinicius Junior is playing his best football at the moment. We know about Man City. We know that Man City, the introduction of Gayu Semenyo, in my opinion, is going to be telling for Man City, because I do think that they've got Doku to come back. They've already got Diaz. If Foden and Haaland, raise their game, they could easily go and win it themselves, Man City. So we spoke about Sporting. Atletico Madrid spoke about that. PSG are a different kettle of fish. They're quietly coming to form. They're not dominating the French league as they used to, but once again, on the ball and in attack, they got the players. I think Dembele hasn't been as great as he was last season, but collectively as a team, once they get their eye in, no one's going to want to play PSG. No one's going to want to play them.
No, facts. There's some interesting potential ties there. I don't think we're going to escape a last 16 English affair.
You mean last night? You mean?
I think it'll be. Yeah. It's definitely going to happen, isn't it? It's definitely going to happen.
Well, if you look at Arsenal, potentially it's going to be It could be Man City.
Yeah.
Could be Liverpool. It could even be Chelsea or Newcastle or even Spurs. But the fact is, with Arsenal, the Arsenal that actually smashed everyone in the group and had that excellent
big up, Prone. Drive careful, man.
In Internazionale, isn't that team anymore. It's a team that's really, really under a lot of pressure, and is finding it difficult to keep the ball against good opposition.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a tough one. How do you think? Do you think it's wide open? Do you think we're? Do you think we're warrant? I mean, how have we? I'm not being funny, Kenny, but for a team that's never ever won the Champions League and get to this stage and find it really, really difficult, I don't know how we're favourites.
Well, why
have they based it that we're favourites?
I'll tell you what. We every obstacle course that we were given, we passed with flying colours. We had a difficult game against Atletico Madrid. We smashed them. We had a 6-pointer against Bayern Munich, albeit they were missing Musiala and they're missing Diaz for suspension. We beat them, and we beat them doing it our way. So you can't, and we beat. And it was so you got to be taking notice of you win those games. And also another thing as well. Since we come back in the Champions League, Alan Mikel, we've had a quarter-final, then a semi-final. The next evolutionary progression is a final. Winning it, where you've got a chance to win it. So the fact we won all our games, the fact that we've evolved, 6-24 in this competition, quarter-final, semi-final, it's a no-brainer. But I do think that the way we're playing, the fact that we've got a lot of players who play together, we're not going to be also rounds in this tournament as we were under Arsene. We're a bit better than that. Don't get me wrong. Individually, Arsene had better players in the eye, and more intelligent.
Collectively, we're more of a unit, are we?
Yeah, we're more solid, especially defensively. than we were under Arsene. It's just facts.
Yeah, I mean, I said at the start of the season this team's better built to win the Champions League, and I still stick by that. The only thing now that I'm sort of wavering on the other side, and I'll tell you why, because, and I mentioned this last night on my stream, but I wanted your opinion on it, Kenny. Will it get to a point where the player's psyche would rather lean towards the Premier League, winning the Premier League than the Champions League? Will that play on their mind? What I'm trying to say is that they know the pressure's on the manager and the football club to win the Premier League 20 odd years. Yeah. Although we've never won the Champions League in our history, so there's that going around as well. But does it get to a point where if we get to the quarterfinals, we're 3 points ahead of Man City, going to the Etihad or whatever, or going to the London Stadium against West Ham? Will they, how can I say it? Will they start to perhaps, right, if we're going to pick one, because, you know, fatigue setting in, it's been a long season. If we're going to pick one, we're going to pick the Premiership. Do you think the players think like that, or do you think they'll both
Of course they do. Of course they do. They'll say the right things and say, like what Saka said, that it's very dangerous to put your eggs in one basket, and that's respectable. But in essence, the league is what Arteta wants, and it's what the players want more than anything else. Right. I'm not saying they don't want a Champions League, because obviously if they're going in an England squad.
So I'm not saying they'll bin this, but what I'm saying is
they'll never ever bin the Champions League. But the Premier League is the alpha and omega for this football club, and it has to be because of the situation in 23 and 24, and the no-show in 25. It has to be. No Arsenal. If you look at Arsenal fans' psyche, if we don't win this league, then it will have a major effect, detrimental effect on all of us as who've got a stake in the club as supporters, you know, the players who play for us and the board. It will hurt us big time. So the league is a priority. Doesn't mean you're not going to, not win the Champions League, because let's face it, in 2019, Man City was still going for the Champions League. They had an all British English target, Tottenham. They found a way to lose it. Lose it on away goals, and Tottenham would have won and got the final. Liverpool, that's it. Were also go for the league. They would definitely have prioritised the league in 2019 over the Champions League, because it would have been 29 years before they won it, so they would have gone for that as well. But what's happened is that they were 3-0 down against Barcelona. They came back, Anfield style, won. And then it got a situation where they put all their eggs into the league, but Man City just kept on matching them for every good performance they played. And then in the end, the Champions League was a consolation prize, and it was the consolation prize for Liverpool. As much as the Champions League is massive for Arsenal fans, probably massive for Chelsea fans, for Liverpool, they've won it. They won it 5 times before that anyway.
Exactly.
The Champions League and Liverpool are synonymous. The Champions League and AC Milan are synonymous. The Champions League and Real Madrid, that's synonymous. With a lot of other teams,
I'd still like to think.
I'm not saying with Arsenal, it's not synonymous. So a lot of our fans want to win the Champions League because
I do desperately.
Because they haven't won it before.
Yeah. I do desperately want to win the Champions League. But no, it's interesting, Kenny, because I thought of it the other day, and I'm thinking there might come a point in the players' minds where they just think, do you know what? We're battling on all 4 fronts, but if we're going to pick one, it's got to be the Premier League.
Right, let me ask you a question. I know you're the interviewer, but let me ask you one question.
Go on, mate.
If you were to ask Jamie Harrow and Steven Gerrard, would they swap their Champions League medal for a league championship medal? I bet you they'd say yes.
Yeah.
I bet you they'll do it.
Yeah, probably.
Because
probably.
They never
won it, have they?
Yeah, but they not only that,
That's crazy, isn't it?
They played for a club that dominated most of the 70s, dominated the 80s.
Yeah.
And were the first team in the 90s to win the league, where the league championship in Liverpool was like hand and glove. So if they're going into like the trophy room or the history room at Liverpool, and they're seeing all these great players, with Champions Leagues as well. Let's remember, but the league, they would want some of that as well.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, Carragher and Gerrard never winning the Premier League is just, well, not so much Carragher, but
Man United. But then again, you speak to a Man United player now. Before there was a time under Sir Alex where he was obsessed with the Champions League.
Yeah,
because he was winning the league. But now you speak to a Man United fan now, or a Man United player, if you ask Bruno Fernandes, Champions League or League Championship, or Harry Maguire and those players, because of Man United's pedigree of winning the league, don't want the League Championship because they want to be in the same. They want to be on the same sort of like list as Keane, as Beckham, as Giggsy, as Scholes. So, but Arsenal is different because we haven't won the Champions League. But I think the league should be a priority because I think Arsenal players and Arsenal fans will want our players like Saka to be mentioned the same breath as Ashley Cole, Perez, Vieira, Henry.
I get that. I just think perhaps it's a bit of a selfish thing because I just look at the history of Arsenal Football Club. I look at all the great players that have played for it. You know, the great Invincible team, the 2002 team, all of these great players that have graced this great football club and the managers as well. I just think it's criminal that we've never won the Champions League.
I
know a lot of the fans that are in their 20s, teens that are watching this has never seen us win the Premier League, and I get that, and I do get that. But for a club in its history, still can't sit at the top table, and you get fans coming to the Champions of Europe. You'll never sing that.
I respect. I've got a lot of respect for that.
I just find it. I find it really, really difficult to understand how we have never won the Champions League.
Well, easy. But you think about it. If you go in our history where we've been in the Champions League, we're in it consecutively under Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger was not what I call a tactical coach. It's a fact.
When we got to that Champions League final, Kenny, and we was both there. It was that for me. That was the start of the spiral for.
Well, of course, it was.
He really wanted that, didn't he? I mean, he really wanted that because
he really wanted that because it was his best chance because he actually started to play tactical football for the first time in his life as Arsenal. But you think about it. You know what the greater crime is that we had that great team, Premiership team, and that didn't even touch the sides in Europe.
No.
He didn't touch the sides. The best Arsene Wenger ever got with that great side, and I talk about his teams from like '98 up until 2004. You know what it was? It was a quarter final against Chelsea. I think there was quarterfinals before that as well. I think it was against who was it? Against Valencia, or one of those clubs. And then obviously we had one semi-final where Man United actually beat us up, and they beat us up.
Oh yeah. We had the one against Chelsea. Oh yeah. So, we've had some, and this is what I want to put all that to bed. This is why I want the Champions League and Vincenzo Petroni. Personally, I'm DJB. I've only seen Arsenal win Europe twice. And we've never won the European Champions League. I know it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But I do listen. I do understand. And I think, I'll tell you what then, let's turn it the other way, right? If we hadn't have come runners-up 3 seasons in a row and we'd have come 5th, perhaps 4th, and then we was in with a chance of winning the Premier League this year, would people's opinion of winning the Champions League be any different?
I think people's opinions of winning the Champions League, I think they'll grab both hands. Because they'll grab because simple reason.
So it's only the pain of finishing runners up that's really making us really wanting it.
I think the Champions League, because of what they saw Spurs do, because Spurs never won the league, they haven't won a league since '61. They had a very good campaign in 2019. Just as good as our campaign in 2006. And it was a case, well, hang on here, we need to right this wrong. Because let's face it, Arsenal fans were just as upset as Ajax fans when Spurs got to the final. You
Yeah.
remember what it was like to be an Arsenal fan when Tottenham got to that Champions League final?
Oh,
And playing
don't. I was
Liverpool.
praying they didn't win it.
You
Oh,
know
my
what I mean?
God. Can you
Yeah.
imagine it?
And us knowing that if they
Oh.
played anyone but that Liverpool side, they would have gone and won it.
Oh, my God. Can you
The way
imagine it?
things were going, the Liverpool were the only team that were capable of stopping them. But can you imagine it? What it would have been like as an Arsenal fan if they won the Champions League before?
Oh, don't.
It would have been because look how Arsenal fans behaved when they won the Europa League.
Oh, it was that was the icing on the cake for me last season when they won that.
How many fist fights? How many? I know. I've been told by a good friend of mine that there was that people fell out because one person was told to calm down about Tottenham winning the Champions League. And I'll tell you about winning the Europa League. I'll tell you one thing. There's a couple of guys, I don't want to mention names, but the mood I was in when they won the Europa League, if they had said that in person, I would have smacked him one.
Yeah.
That's how much I hated it. Now times that by 10 if they won the Champions League.
God, mate, honestly, I can't even. I remember being able hardly to watch. I've never been such a big Liverpool fan in all my life.
Right, let me just put even more, like I said, meat on the bones or more colour on the picture. We had our final in the Europa League against Chelsea. We spent more time concentrating on what was going on, what was going to happen in Madrid than we did in our final, because we were shit. We were losing our heads. We were shit in the bed. Sorry about everyone's watching. Sorry, but we were petrified at the thought of Spurs winning that Champions League final.
Oh, don't.
Petrified.
Absolutely, honestly. Oh, mate, yeah. Bro, I'm in my 20s. There's a whole generation of Arsenal fans. Yeah, facts. Weren't old enough to see us win the cup. Well, let's hope we can win it this season. Let's hope we can win it this season. But I'll tell you now, the Champions League will bring you just as much joy, guarantee it. But
don't get me wrong. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine we don't win anything this season? We don't win the FA Cup. We don't win the league, and win the Champions League. Trust me. You go to the Channel, there'll be a million. There won't be half a million. There'll be a million.
Yeah, it'd be craziness. It'd be crazy. I wonder what it'd be like. I wonder how the fans would divide over us not winning anything other than the Champions League. Because at the moment, everyone's like Premier League, Carabao Cup.
Let me tell you something now.
I wonder what it would be like with this manager.
Look at Liverpool fans in 2019. In 2019, Liverpool probably thought they should have won the league. They won the Champions League. Jordan Henderson was crying in his dad's arms.
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp was trying to sing the Salt and Pepper songs. Six baby, right? And then the whole of Liverpool came out for a parade.
They did indeed.
And that
indeed.
softened the blow, not winning the league, and that actually gave them emphasis to win it the season afterwards. No, but let me tell you something now. We win the Champions League. As much as I prefer the league, that will soften every blow of us not winning the league.
Oh, mate, it'll be a lovely little pillow to lay on, wouldn't it? If we win the Champions League.
You just proved that.
Yeah.
You just proved that if we don't win the league and Man City nick it off us, and we win that, we go to Budapest and win that Champions League. Proof of the pudding is your reaction at the thought of winning it, not winning it at the thought.
Will the owners be satisfied though, Kenny?
Of course they will be, because foreign owners, and I say it with respect, they're obsessed. The Champions League, the fact
really know much about it, do they?
Yeah, the fact that the whole world is what the Champions. You've got to remember, the Champions League is like a World Cup every year.
Yeah, facts.
It's a World Cup because you are seeing the best players in the world in cup competition, not international competition, club competition, and in some cases, people think the Champions League and club football is bigger than the international football these days. So, if Arsenal win the Champions League, the Cronkies will count that just as much a success as Arsenal winning the league.
Yeah, and this guy will get another 3-4 years. Oh no, don't.
Yeah, well, yeah. But Arsenal fans are saying it. I've heard Arsenal fans saying he should get a statue. He wins the Champions League.
Oh no. Yeah, I know. We did. Yeah. Nah,
Yeah,
not before George Graham. Sorry,
of course not
people.
before George Graham. But the
It's
fact
going
is,
to be. I'll tell you what, though, it is going to be fascinating. But yeah, no, George Graham should get a statue.
I'll tell you one thing: if we had George Graham, if George Graham was managing some of those Wenger sides, we would won it by now.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Greatest ever Arsenal manager. We've had 100%. Yeah, no, it's going to be do you know what though? It is now do or die, and we want us to. It's got to that part of the season where it's all or nothing. I mean, that is how to sum it up, really, isn't it? It's all or nothing. We could easily end up with nothing, Kenny.
Well, that happens.
You know, we could lose the Carabao Cup. We could then Man City could claw the Premiership back. We could fluff our lines against Leverkusen or
Liverpool
Atalanta.
last season. Liverpool last season.
Liverpool last season. End up with nothing.
All right. Liverpool the last 2 seasons, 2005, 2025. They won the league, but they were in touch. Everyone's talking about the quadruple.
Yeah,
they won the league, got the League Cup final.
The year before that, Cup.
They were talking about the quadruple. Yep. What happened? Got to quarterfinals of the FA Cup, won the League Cup, fell away in the league, and
last season it was madness.
And
they were top of the Champions League, flying.
Yeah, and the Europa League, they lost to the winner. They lost to the eventual winners, Atalanta, in the quarters.
Yeah.
So, and in 2022, Liverpool, Man City would go for like the quadruple. Man City won the league. Liverpool won the FA Cup and the League Cup. Got to the Champions League final and lost the league on the last day by 2 points. So that can easily be us.
Easily, yeah, absolutely. Just got to keep it going. Keep it going. There's a lot of pressure on this team. Next thing, Kenny, let's have a little look at this man here. Apparently, he's going to be our summer signing. Arsenal, Hincapié. Apparently, the deal's meant to be around about 45 million. Another defender, another left back. Probably about 8 now. He's signed.
Carry on talking. I'm just going to go to relieve myself. Carry on talking. I'm coming.
Yeah. In 2 seconds. No, apparently, you know, this is all going to happen. This is going to be. They're trying to trigger the transfer to go through to get Hincapié. 45 million in the reckoning. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good left back. He's not brilliant. He's not a world beater for me. I think he's not a solid defender, but for me, it's someone who we need at the left back. I can't believe we've spent all this money, over £1 billion. The manager's obsessed with signing left back after left backs. No one's really filled the position, to be honest. He's tried with Calafiori. Calafiori's injury prone. He tried with Zinchenko. We all knew where that ended up. He's tried with Lewis Skelly. For some reason or another, he doesn't trust him at left back. He's been found wanting in certain games. So let's hope that this guy is going to be the real deal at left back. If we sign him, if we get it over the line. I still think we need a right back as well, personally. When Kenny comes back, we'll have to wait and see what he thinks. But, for me, he's a no-nonsense left back. Again, he's not the most technically gifted, but you get exactly what it says on the tin with Hincapié. I was just saying, Kenny, the amount of left backs we've signed. We've tried Zinchenko, failed. Calafiori, tried him. Been working up until a point, injury prone, failed. Tomiyasu, we've switched him, failed, injury prone. Zinchenko, we knew all that went. Lewis Skelly, he's had a few nightmares. Don't quite know how to handle Lewis Skelly left back. Doesn't really trust him at left back. So we might as well say that's failed. Now this guy's come along, Hincapié, 45 million. Have we now finally found our left back, or will the merry-go round just keep going on?
Look, thing is, there's very few good left backs out there, but a lot of people think Cucurella is the best left back in the world on the basis that he's won a Euros with Spain. He's won a year later. He's won the World Club Championships for Chelsea. Saka and him always have a battle. Sometimes he wins the battle. Sometimes it's 50-50.
Yeah.
And he doesn't invert. He doesn't wholly invert. He does get into attacking areas, where he comes in late to the party, and on the end of chances when no one's expecting it, and he will either put a little cross in or he'll score himself, but he doesn't invert. But he's still considered to be one of the best left backs out there. At Arsenal, Calafiori inverts, very good on the ball. Left back, he's had a good season, but he's just not fit enough. Hincapié, for me, he's so bloody minded. He can defend and defend and defend, and he has got a bit of a goal threat. But who knows? If he gets a run of games, he could be. But the thing is left backs are so hard. Fullbacks are so hard to come by, because at the end of the day, managers don't want them to overlap anymore. Just to overlap, they want them to invert now.
Yeah, true.
One thing you can say about Timber,
midfield. This is why I can't understand. Skelly's not been.
Skelly can't defend.
Kind of fallen off with a
Skelly can't defend. He's a liability. No. I'm sorry, he's a liability. You only have to look at the Bayern Munich game. Had Mikel Arteta not made that change against Bayern Munich, we would have lost the game at home to him.
Yeah,
he made 100%. That change, but it's not just that; it's other games where Lamazia Skelly just can't defend. He doesn't. He lets the ball bounce. He look what happened against Liverpool.
He gets caught ball watching as well, doesn't he? When he's come and hit, when he gets hit with a diagonal,
yeah, exactly.
He gets into two minds, doesn't he? You don't know whether.
Or Frimpong, look what Frimpong was doing to him. Look what Frimpong did to him.
Yeah, against Liverpool, that was terrible.
Frimpong moved him, innit?
Yeah, and you can't do that. You can't have that. So do you think Hincapié's first choice now then? Do you think Calafiori's fallen out of bed with this?
No, Calafiori's still be his first choice. Hincapié.
You think so?
Yeah, Hincapié will be a good backup for now. But if Calafiori isn't fully fit, he won't play. But let's not forget, when we were playing our best football, and before teams, kind of worked us out a bit, Calafiori and Timber were at the height of the game. Calafiori's probably has got injuries through overexertion. Timber has an injury waiting to happen because he's just running on empty.
Well, this is what I'm saying. We need backup on the right back situation as well.
Yeah, because Benjamin White clearly has had a setback. Well, Benjamin White's had a setback because we know he's had a setback because he can't complete 3 games in a row, even if and what's happening now is that he doesn't even, sometimes he's not in the squad altogether.
No, exactly. And
you can say that Martin as well. If we sort of segue into the midfield, he's either on the bench, or he's out of the squad altogether. How many setbacks can 2 players have? How unlucky can they get?
Exactly. I mean, this is why we've been saying, Kenny, and we've got to, before this signing even comes in, at the end of the day, it's a business, and we've been saying it, and we've given our list of names pretty much who we need to sell, but we need to sell before we start bringing in players. It's a business.
That's realistic. But try telling our fans that. DJB, because guess what? People think we've got so much unlimited money to spend, and then they'll go and say, "Well, it's not your money." I said, "Wangwin here. We can't lie ourselves to your basic caveman opinion. Oh, why are you worried for? It's not your money." Look, this is not some market in the East End or some market in Peckham. If we're some football fans are interested in the financial side of things. Some just interested in results. We're all different. We can't just, have your opinion. The fact is that you guys are hypocrites anyway. Because when you say you don't care about wages and you don't care about it's not your money, the minute we don't get players that we want, we start calling the club tight because we don't pay the salary to get the players, or we call the club tight because they won't spend that much money. So the same people will say, "What do you care? It's not your money, or why are you worried about us going to debt?" Are the same idiots or hypocrites who'll go around and say something different.
Why don't we sign this one and why don't we sign that one?
Idiots are very insulting in the world. But what I'll say, and I apologise for suggesting it, because I'm not talking about anyone else. I'm just talking about the general viewpoint isn't great, because you twist yourself in knots, and you were previous to in previous seasons where you were complaining about us not spending that much money. There were some people thinking that we should have signed Semenyo. Well, we'd have had to pay big money for him, and then we had to pay big wages for him. So you say you don't care about big salaries, big wages, but you wouldn't like to buy Semenyo this January.
Exactly. No, exactly. Big up, Lawrence. Big up, Lawrence. Morning, lads. A pleasure watching you two icons on our phones watching the Europa Conference League football, which is about to... Yeah. Well, if we don't freshen up next summer and we don't get rid of some of the dead wooden players that have been hanging around like a bad cold, we could end up in the conference. This is what I'm saying. At the moment, it's all rosy, and at the moment, about squad depth. But the point of the matter is, we've got players at this football club that
can I ask you a question,
past their sell-by date.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think we need another striker? We'll need another striker next season.
I think we need another striker. I think we need to get rid of Havertz. I think we need to get rid of Jesus. I think we need to get rid of Trossard. I think we need to get rid of Martinelli. I think we need to get rid of Ben White. I'd sell him 100%.
I'll rephrase that.
We need some wholesale
I'm going to
players
rephrase
moving
my
out, players moving in.
Well, I'm going to rephrase my question. All right, we know we need to get a number 10. And we know we need to get a left back. We're going to get Henkape. We know we need to get a striker. I'm going to rephrase that regarding striker. Do we need to get a top class striker, or have we got one?
I think we've got one in the making.
A question to whether we need a striker.
Right. My opinion on Gorka is getting better as the season's going on, but I still need him to step up in the big games. I don't want him stepping up against the likes of Spurs, Leeds, no disrespect to everyone at the Emirates. I want him to step up Chelsea. I want him to show the form that he showed against Spurs, against Chelsea. And then I want him to do it against Brighton. And then I want him to do it again in the Etihad when we go to Man City. Champions League, if it's a little bit kind of nervy and it's a little bit not going quite our way and we need a goal in the second leg, step up then. That's where your strikers have got to step up. Right. So I will judge him at the end of the season, Kenny.
All right, so you don't think we need a top-class striker then?
I think we need to bring someone in to fill his boots as an option. I think we need someone in to see. I'll tell you where I am with Arsenal Football Club, right? I think that this manager and the money that's been spent, we should be in a position now where we're mainly like for like. So if you take Gorkarez off, you've got someone of that ilk or better to come in. You take Saka off, we've got Madueke on the right. Not good enough for me. You take Saka off, I want man like Elise on the right. Yeah. You take Martin, you start with a Semenyo or Rodrigo, and then Semenyo comes in and plays on the left. They're the sort of situations I would want us to be in. Not in every single position, because that's impossible. But the key positions I want like for like. Because at the moment, Noni Madueke for me is still not good enough to hold that right-hand side on a permanent basis.
Yeah, see, so that's a good question. But the fact is, right, is that we are going to have to break this team up anyway.
Oh, we've got
even if we win the league.
But a lot of fans don't want to hear that. That's the problem.
Yeah, but that's a bit it. But the fact is, but it's not up to them. It's not up to them.
No.
You know, if we had a coach, or we had we had a sporting director that was like some of our fans, business, because simple reason is that you can't have people in charge who are attached to players who don't want us to move forward and refuse to accept that the club has to progress, that some players come to the end of their time. You can't have people like that in charge.
No,
you know what I mean. You have to be practical. You have to be able to say thank you. You have to realise that teams are going to raise their game against us. Teams will get better. Our players won't be as good as they were before, and things that they've worked this season won't work next season, and
No,
that we don't want a situation what Liverpool are having, or where we feel Man City are, where they're
where we
teams
stand
are not
still, where we're standing
stand
still.
still. But our fans want us to stand still. I mean, when Alexis Sanchez and Ozil were asking for 300 grand a week and they wouldn't sign contracts, I said, my answer is get rid of them. I don't care. But people were so upset. That's how low our standards were.
Yeah.
Players who only won us FA Cups. And I used to
Alexis
sound
Sanchez,
lucid when it comes to
300. I'd have given him 300 grand
yeah,
before Saka
even
got in.
so, even so, if he's not signed a contract, the club comes first. But the whole situation is that we were at an all-time low where we weren't even competing for the league, and we were begging players to stay rather than say, right, let's rip it up and let's try again, which we've done. That's how bad things were at Arsenal towards the end of Wenger's reign. And when Arteta first got in, we don't know if it's great anyway because we haven't won anything. But the fact is, we got attached to players like Aubameyang, who's never won us anything, only won one FA Cup.
Yeah,
basically, Dan Tools in the Europa League final was crap. It was crap.
Yeah.
Didn't want to know in the Europa League final. Got his contract. Didn't want to know. Trying to engineer and move to Chelsea, and yes, he was trying to engineer and move to Chelsea before he signed his contract.
Yeah.
In 2020, January 2020, he wanted to go to Chelsea. He says, "Don't rewrite history and insult my intelligence because I've got the receipts and the facts." And I've spoken to other people. That's a fact.
We know.
Yeah, we get attached to people like him. We don't win anything. There are times we even got attached to Giroud. I'd rather get attached to players who win me things, or think, you know what? I want us to evolve where we could dominate, and we can't dominate by being attached to certain players.
Facts, mate. Well said, mate. Absolute facts. It's got to move on. That's a good point here, Bev. Pepper's identical situation with O'Reilly and Arteta as with MLS. One is thriving, the other one is rotting on the bench. Yeah, see, this is what I'm trying to say. He seems to have got something out of O'Reilly, doesn't he? Another little Phil Foden in the making now, and yet we've got youngsters that have just fallen by the wayside. This is what we have to consider. Big up, Rashid, my friend. Thank you for the big up, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. I think they raided over. Thank you very much. But no, it's going to all be interesting, my friend. It's going to be all interesting. But I do believe we're going to have to make wholesale changes. I think we can't stand still. There are players that have passed their sell by date.
Odegaard. You have to consider Odegaard. You got to look at the.
I think if the money came in, he's got to go, hasn't he? He's got to go. I think he wants to go, Kenny. I don't think he's happy. I think he wants to go now.
Well, he'll be frustrated. He'll be frustrated with his performances. I don't know what his relationship's like with the manager, but he's got to be frustrated that the things that he was doing that were working in 2024 are not working now. He's got to be frustrated. Saka's got to be frustrated as well. But as much as the team's winning, they have to be frustrated that they're not actually contributing as much as they would like. They have to be frustrated. Saka, his nose has got to be put out of joint with everyone's obsession about Victor Gyökeres and Declan Rice. Of course, his nose is going to be put out of joint. He's a competitive athlete.
Facts.
He's our main man. I'll be frustrated if I think that I've done more for the club than Odegaard or Declan Rice, and yet he's the guy we can't do without. Or I've been in longer than Gyökeres, and I'm the one who was banging the goals before he got here, and now all of a sudden everyone's talking about him being elite. I'll be annoyed.
Yeah, no, facts, mate. No, it is. And listen, when you're playing at a big club, that's how it should be. Players should be surplus to requirements, and if you're not doing the business, then you're gone. It's as simple as that. Whether you're captain or not, that's the standards we should be aiming for. You can't fall in love with players and then suddenly he's not playing and it's the end of your world. It's like Martinelli. The bottom line is he's not good enough at the moment. He's not good enough to play with this football club. He should have been, but he hasn't been excelled to that extra level now. And the jury will be out on Saka. If Saka has another season like he's had this season, you've got to start thinking to yourself, right, well, has he reached his level. Can we now still cash in on him? That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Question: what do you guys think of the possible 60-point deduction that could be handed out to Man City if they're found guilty? I don't think it'll happen, Lawrence. I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's a lot of things being exchanged there. Money's one of them. I personally,
let me say something now.
I personally don't think it's going to happen, Kenny. I don't know about you, my friend.
Look, it's a geezer that's gone on the overlap, giving his opinion, but his opinion is far from fact. The fact is that Man City will defend themselves vigorously and take this 11 hour. Though the Premier League can't do without Man City, but Man City is the cash cow for the Premier League because they have dominated.
Yeah, and they know this. They know this.
Yeah, another thing as well. They got the most high profile manager in Pep Guardiola. The fact is another thing as well. I always say with these sort of things, right, is that UEFA tried it and Man City's lawyers won the day because I don't care what anyone says. Whatever happens in football, in terms of like your rules, your regulations, your laws, that's not legally binding in the real world. It's not.
No.
So Man City could easily take this to the High Court and they will win. Another thing as well is that Premier League, because I'm suspicious of the Premier League for the reason I mentioned earlier, and I said on the Dan show last week, the Premier League think we're idiots. They're trying to say that if they deal with Man City, that's it, there's no more corruption. I refuse to believe that Man City are the only club that who can come out with alleged corrupt practices.
Of course they're not.
And I'm saying this is the Red Cartel got together and clubbed together to try and stop the whole of the new clubs like Man City, Chelsea, and Newcastle. And the Red Cartel were Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United. And I'm sick of saying it now. If Man City are doing it, other clubs in the Premiership are doing it at the same scale, if not maybe about a quarter less, but they're at it. You can't just say only Man City, the only teams that are dirty. That's not possible.
I don't think so.
What's happened in Italy? Do you remember Ciabolli?
No, Italian
Juventus got relegated. We found out it wasn't just Juventus. Milan were relegated. Doing it. Guess what? A year later, Milan won the Champions League. They won the Champions League.
I know.
But they were found guilty in a scandal. Were people talking then?
No,
because Juventus are the most hated club in Italy, they wanted down for Juventus. The same where with Man City is that we're saying, oh, they cheated. I guarantee you that they're not the only club at it.
Facts.
Guarantee you it.
Absolute facts, mate. No, of course they're not. I think City will come. I think they'll come out. They'll get something, but it won't be heavy. Aussie Angelo, DJB. I still can't see Arteta winning the title. More chance of Wolves and Burnley staying up. I think you'll finish third or fourth and win only the Carabao Cup, mate. Well, it's a possibility, Aussie. It's a possibility. At the moment, we're still in with a shout, but I think this week, Chelsea and the Brighton game is going to be pivotal in this Premiership. I think if we come out of that with only 1 point or 2 draws, I think that could be really, really pivotal in this Premiership running. But it's been great. Honestly, Kenny, it's been great. Thank you for everyone that's been locked in. Rashid for the raid as well. Rashid and Shane for the raid as well. Make sure you are subbing to or following Kenny Ken on his Insta, and make sure that you're subbing to the Arsenal Huddle if you've come across it for the very first time. Welcome. But please make sure you smash a like, because that does help the channel, people. So make sure you smash a like. It's going to be an interesting couple of days. Come on, the Lynch. Big up to you, Lynch. Thank you for dropping in, my friend, as always. DG as well. Aussie Ange. We've had them all in. The fan base is a reflection of our manager. If Arteta becomes ruthless and sells players that aren't good enough, they would change their tone as well.
100%.
100%. Great comment, my friend. Wanyeri's not getting enough time in Marseille is a joke. Yeah, do you know what? I can see Wanyeri, unfortunately, being one of them players that just flitters out. I can see it being like another Dele Alli or something.
It don't have to be that. If he goes to a club in Europe or in the Premiership that
Such a
is
shame.
that's win. But the problem is, I always say, when you're Arsenal players, you've got to be very, very careful about your next move, because when you're at Arsenal for too long, you get used to the facilities, the style of play, the surroundings, and you go to another club and you can't adjust.
Yeah, facts. Absolute facts. I'm really interested to see his progression. I hope it don't just peter out and he becomes just
It doesn't have to be, but what's happening is
he
at the
becomes like
moment,
a championship player or something
you
like that. I
look,
really hope he doesn't.
yeah, but Balogun has got a credible career in France.
Who was
He was,
sorry, Kenny, but who was was it Pato? Pato was an up and coming midfield player, wasn't he, for Arsenal? Was it the young lad? Pato? He was the next best thing, wasn't he? The Jack Wiltshire and all that, and Pato, someone in the chat.
There was a player. There were loads.
And he was meant to be the next best thing, and he, he's just fallen off of a cliff, and no one hears from him. Big up to you, Jimbo, my friend. Hope you're well.
You got to remember one thing, right? Is that when you got managers,
Patino, yeah, that's it. Patino,
yeah.
That was him.
Patino. Well, he was at Blackpool, and I think he's at Luton now.
This is what I'm saying, and I can see that happening to Ranieri. I hope not. I think he's got a little bit more than Patino, but
you've got to remember,
the sort of player I mean, Kenny, they just drift out, and then you go, "What's happening to Ranieri?" And you go, "Oh, he's playing for Sheffield Wednesday."
It happens to every big club, because the reason is that when you're at a big club, you have to sign your duty band to your fan base to sign the best players available and pay the best wages. You ain't got time to wait for a kid to come through at a big club. It just doesn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Phil Foden, if Phil Foden, right, was at Man City before all that great side and all the money, he would have made it at Man City, because he would have been under pressure. He would have fallen down rising. Look at Michael Johnson. Remember Michael Johnson?
Yeah. Do I?
Now, Michael Johnson was playing now for Man City, and he had Pep Guardiola. He had all these great players. Pep Guardiola could put him in the side and take him out, and he'd still be playing there. Yeah. Phil Foden's got a luxury of a great team, and he's able to be taught great habits, and his development into that team is smoother one, where there's less pressure. But Man City have to win things for him to get his chance. But Arteta's under pressure because of us, rightly so, to win trophies.
Absolutely, 100%. He's got to win. Big up to every single one of yous. Kawaj has just informed me that Rashid is live at 7:30, so we'll be going over to Rashid. Kenny, what you got coming up, my friend?
Well, I've got the game against Chelsea, so have you.
Yeah. That's a big game.
That's what I've got. Friday is my quiet day. Saturday.
Friday's our quiet day. Absolutely.
Yeah. Saturday, I want a quiet day as well. And because that's one of the days where
if I freeze up, people, I apologise, because when I raid over, it freezes. Have I frozen, Kenny?
You have.
I've frozen. I do apologise. This always happens, but we're going to go over to.
You know when you actually raid, do you have to actually press a button or something on your laptops for it?
I don't know what happens, man. No, I don't know. You have to. Honestly, it's an absolute pain. I don't know why it freezes every time I go and raid. But listen, you can all
what you need to do.
You can hear me. That's the main thing. You can hear me.
You know what you need to do, DJ.
Go
Check
on.
to see if there's. You may need to do a software update on your MacBook or your laptop.
Possibly. Yeah. So is it raise the standards? Is that Nesta official and BBK? That's what he's on. He's on there now, isn't he? He's live now. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sorted. We're back, people. We're back. Stinker and hooked. Absolutely frozen out. Honestly, I hope Arsenal don't freeze on the last couple of days. That's all I'm hoping. Really good Odegaard impression. Cheers, right, bro. I like to get one in. Hey?
One thing is that I always say when teams are in good form, they've got to play us and prove themselves against us. Well, Brentford proved themselves up to a point.
Yeah,
Wolves got what they wanted. But the fact is that we don't have to lose games in order not to win the title. If we keep on drawing, that's just as much as bad as a loss, you know?
Yeah, Absolutely. No, absolutely. You know, I know we've been a bit indifferent at the end of the day, but we're still a fairly good side. And when teams come up against us, they've got to perform. Otherwise, they get picked off. AFC 1987. I said that from day one. He should have gone to West Ham on loan. That would have been an ideal club for him.
Look, it could be a situation.
Or a Brighton, something like that.
But that could still happen. That could still happen. You know, one thing that needs to happen, he has to be able to play games. You know, and learn his trade. It's no good going to clubs and not playing games. It's a waste of everyone's time.
Absolute waste of time. I just hope he don't.
Doesn't help. It doesn't help. It doesn't help that they change manager at Marseille.
Yeah,
doesn't help.
Yeah. Big up to every single one of you. Blessed to everyone. Thank you for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed it. Kenny's going to go off and do his stuff now. I'm going to go and get something to eat. I know that. My next stream will be the Sunday sit back because the Chelsea game. So we'll be doing the Sunday sit back. I'm hoping it's all going to be joy and balloons.
Well, I'll tell you one for you.
But if we don't get a result, that Sunday sit back
I've got one to say.
Could be a long one.
We're going to Wembley.
Yeah,
I know I'm going to get home. I'll worry about you getting home after the cup.
Kenny, don't worry about that, bro. If we win, I'm not worried about getting home. But however, I will suffer Wembley in a cup final as a one-off to get home, but I will not suffer playing our games there if our stadium gets developed because
I am against it wholeheartedly.
Because Kenny, for me to. I won't be getting home till 2-3 o'clock in the morning if we have an 8 o'clock kickoff. And I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, Kenny. Not when we can play our games at the London Stadium.
I think match going fans, they should do a survey. They've got our email addresses. Do a survey and consult us and ask our opinions where we should be going to. Don't just make the decision. Because they spoke to a few people in the Arsenal supporters committee. You don't speak for all of us. Send out a survey, Arsenal.
Exactly. Because that would be a disaster for a lot of fans if we have to play our games at Wembley. It will be a disaster because that station is an absolute nightmare to get home from. It's an awful place to get home from, especially if you're coming right out of where I live and all of that. It's crazy.
It's a death trap. I don't care what else. It's a death trap.
DJ B, please, as Saka, why is he not passing the Glock every time? Because he's trying too hard. He's trying to impress. When a player's not having a very, very good season, he's trying to do. What he does, he forgets to do the simple things rather than. And then he becomes selfish because he wants to impress because he knows he's having a bad season. That's where the manager comes in, should sit him down and go, your job is to supply X, Y, Z. That's it. That's probably that's what's happened to Saka. He's just trying too hard. Same as Gorkarez. He was trying too hard, but time will tell. Time will tell. Big up, everyone. We're going to raid over to Rashid, show him some love and say DJB raid. And thank you for joining us on the extra time as well. Thank you very much. Kenny, pleasure as always. Enjoy the rest of your evening and enjoy the football the weekend as well. Come on, you Gunners. Bless.